Well, it is either a really good late night or a really good early morning for you if you're here on the East Coast of the United States. If you're on the West Coast, I guess you're just about ready to get your getting on, and in varying degrees across the country. I think it's Wednesday night, isn't it? Wednesday night, and I'm looking like the old Batman over here on the Periscope because I think I'm tilted. Anybody remember how the old Batman was always tilted, I think, when they showed the bad guys? So there you go. Maybe that tells you something, right? But anyway, folks, I want to talk some craziness to you tonight. Should I do it that way on purpose? Let's do it that way on purpose just to be silly. We're going to, and there's the palm of my hand. How cool is that? There we go. So we're going to do it like the old Batman style. I kind of like that. That's interesting. Now I might start doing that. But anyway, there you go. Old Batman style on Periscope and YouTube. Can we do it this way on Twitter too? No, the camera won't do that. On YouTube, camera won't do that. No fun on YouTube. Fun police have shut us down there. But anyway, I want to talk some craziness tonight, and I know that that's very unusual for me. Everything I talk about is very, very normal, very mainstream. Everything I talk about is very, run of the mill. Nothing ever really outside the mainstream. Nothing very controversial. But tonight I want to talk about something that is a little controversial. Starling's watching Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. He's sitting there in Osaka, and trust me, it's okay time to have a beer there, I guess. But anyway, I want to talk to you tonight about the Consolidated CHRIST. What's the Consolidated CHRIST? Well, this is speculative. This is speculation, and let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. Everything that has to do with the Christ really is speculation because there's no empirical, objective evidence that the brother ever even lived. I know that shocks a lot of you. I know that freaks a lot of you out. I know that some of you are just like, what? How can you even say that? Well, the fact of the matter is that I have to see what this looks like on Twitter. The fact of the matter is that there's not one shred, ladies and gentlemen, of empirical evidence that the man called Jesus or the Christ, it does look a little Batmanish. I'm proud of that. It just doesn't look, it's just not true. Hello, we're live. All right. So there's no proof. And I know it's very hard for people to understand that. It's very hard for people to believe that. It's very hard for people to comprehend that. But it's true. There's no objective evidence that this guy, Jesus, or the Christ ever walked on planet Earth. The only evidence for the Christ is in the Bible. And to say that the Bible is proof positive that Christ lived is like saying that Mother Goose is proof positive that the little red hen lived. Supernatural is proof positive that Dean and Sam live. Because in the end, the Bible is really just epic mythic literature. And it's called circular reasoning when you say that something's true because it says it's true. Now, I happen to believe the testimony of the Apostle John, and I think Rooney does too because he's meowing over there. I happen to believe the testimony of the Apostle John that the Christ did manifest in a physical body in Judea in the middle of the first century. I happen to believe that. That's me. That's my belief based upon my blink and the study, 36 years and the gut intuition and the things I've seen and the things I've done. Oh, the things I've seen, youngins. I happen to believe it. Now, I've put in the information box below links to two of my programs that I did. One's called The Female Christ, or the first Christ and one's called the completed Christ. And I happen to believe, again, based on 36 years of evidence, based on 100,000 hours of Bible study, literally 100,000 hours, based on a Bible college diploma and all that kind of stuff, I happen to believe that the first Christ, was a female Christ, was actually the goddess Sophia incarnating in Lilith, and who gave herself up to incarnate in Lilith to remind us that we are not these bodies, that we've been hoodwinked. And I don't have my microphone on. Sorry about that. To remind us that we've been hoodwinked, and to remind us that we have been sold a bill of goods. And Sophia gave up. It's called the correction of Sophia. There you go, Periscope, YouTube, Twitter. Never say I don't love you. That she gave up. She did a kenosis, just like, well, anyway, she came down and incarnated to remind us that we're not this, and that we were tricked into these bodies. And then I believe the Christ, the male Christ, the Word came, incarnated, and you had the completed Christ. And I think it was fully manifested in that last solar eclipse that we had, the one where I was in Tennessee for it, and it was really amazing to me. A lot of people got sick, but it was great for me. Of course, a lot of people have trouble with Mercury retrograde. I was born during Mercury retrograde, so I love Mercury retrograde. It's weird, I know. Rick and Delaney Jackson ask, and this is 1234 a.m. Tacitus account for Jesus. That's probably the best one. I actually believe that the Barcipian letter is better. The Tacitus account is an account written that mentions Pontius Pilate, and it mentions the Christ, and that's part of the problems for it, because they misidentify. Scholars haven't proven it. Pump your brakes. They misidentify the office of Pontius Pilate. They misidentify his office, and they call Jesus the Christ, which they never would have if it had been a Roman. Plus, it's not within 100 years of his supposed life. What scholars have said is that they believe that that was a Roman person quoting a Christian source. So again, it's back to, this is what the Christians said about him. They weren't saying it about him. This is what the Christians said about him. The better question is, how come Philo wrote a history of the Judeans during the first century, during the time that Christ was there, during the time that we supposedly had this huge manger thing, during the time we had this huge crucifixion thing, during the time we had this huge resurrection thing? And let me give you a direct quote of what Philo said about it all. That's what he said about it. And he was a historian. So you can go ahead and believe that, but it's very, 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 very poor scholarship to believe that, and it's nowhere near empirical. The Barcipian letter is better, but it too doesn't appear within 100 years of Christ. And if your Tacitus thing is so great, why didn't it appear for 100 years after Christ? And why didn't Christians start quoting it until 300-400 AD? Come on, man. You got some splaining to do. Do I believe in Norse mythology and legends? I do, Rick and Delaney Jackson. I do believe in Norse mythology and legends. I need to see your videos. You said you're making some videos. I do believe in Norse mythology and legends. My question about the various legends, including the Norse and others, are they different local gods or demigods, or are they local explanations, extrapolations of the same group of Elohim gods. You know, I'm from the Tuatha De Danann. I know it's pronounced terribly, but Irish on both sides. But the Norse are kind of, you know, close to what I believe, where I came from. So I'm just wondering, are they, you know, pick a place that has stories of gods. They all have a lot of similarities. So are they different localized tellings of the gods, the Elohim, in my opinion, or were there different Elohim that are manifesting in different places? I don't know. I don't know, but it is interesting speculation. So my speculation this morning is, since there's no empirical evidence, DJ, good point. Since there's no empirical evidence that the Christ ever walked the earth, and again, I believe he did, but there's no evidence. I can't prove it empirically. I'm a college-trained anthropologist. I have 2 years of anthropology, 2 years of geography on the, hello there, on the, and I can't quite see the names of who you are, but I see the hay and the kitty cat. So nice to see you. I can't prove it empirically. I can't prove it objectively. Now, I believe that the Christ lived. I believe that the testimonies of John are correct, but I can't prove it. And if I can't prove it, I can't sit up here and tell you that it was right. Rick and Delaney Jackson, hot tonight. Yes, you can. Hello. What's the name on there? I'll hold up I got a new phone because it was bigger, but then I didn't know they had an even bigger iPhone, so I could have got that one. But anyway, Rick and Delaney Jackson say we can prove giants existed. Yes, well, yeah, we can prove it from the scriptures, and I guess there's probably some fossilized evidence. But get this, folks, the Bible never teaches that giants had sex with women. Doesn't say that. It says there was giants, says there were men, says there were women, sons of God marrying the daughters of women. That's human sons marrying human women. That's implicit within the text. And Marzulli's wrong. And so are you if you think that giants had sex with human women. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. I've watched Marzulli, held my breath, threw up in my mouth a little bit. And he's talking about some of these giants as big as a house, right? As tall as, 2-3 story buildings, giants. And that they were having sex with human women. That makes me scratch my head. Because if dude is 30 feet tall, how long and how large is dude's sexual organ? As Mac Sterling says, giants would tear a woman apart. Of course they would. Giants didn't have sex with women. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense, but it sells a lot of videos. So they keep talking about it. But back to the subject at hand, and I'm being a little lenient tonight. Usually I wouldn't let Rick and Delaney Jackson, I'm not sure if it's Rick or Delaney, sidetrack us from the subject at hand, but it's early Thursday morning, so we're being a little lax with our rules. King Arthur was a giant, sword in the stone. I don't know, but I do know one thing. The King Arthur movie with the dude from Flavius Josephus was come on, man. We're not even going to address that. Flavius Josephus has shown to be not reliable. The King Arthur movie with the Sons of Anarchy dude, great movie. Really, really good movie. You can't prove with outside evidence, just like not having visible signs of a second appearance. It's an internal discovery and may explain the similarities of gods with geographical differences. It might. It might. So anyway, my point is that if there is no empirical, objective, scholarly evidence of Christ, they can't be 11 feet tall. They just can't have sex with women if they are. If there's no empirical evidence of the Christ, but yet we have this message. We have this message that is undeniable. This message that still has the ability and the power and the resonance and the energy and the harmony and the frequency to affect great changes in people's lives. It's a powerful message. And it has consolidated around this one central figure. And what if it wasn't a dude, like there's no evidence that there was a dude? What if it was other dudes? What if it was other dudettes? Many of you don't know that Mary Magdalene was called the apostle to the apostles. I know what you think. You've made your point. Please don't be rude. What if there were more than one person that was sharing parts of the message which got consolidated into the Christ message? There very well may have been. What if the 12 apostles were 12 people talking about the message of the Christ? What if 12 people received the message of the Christ? 1 and 2 equals 3. That gives you kind of an explanation of Trinity. I'm just saying, what if? And folks, from the empirical, objective, scientific knowledge, we've got no more validation that it was one person than it was 12, 13, 14, 15 persons. Again, I believe that it was one. I believe there was a guy that manifested as a full-grown man, didn't come as a baby. Because John said he didn't come as a baby, came as a full-grown man. He manifested, and he delivered the Christ message to us, and that message still resonates today. However, what if it was a consolidated Christ? And if it's possible that it was a consolidated Christ back then, is it possible that there might be consolidated Christ walking the earth here and now? Is that possible? I don't know. It's certainly interesting. Was it one guy that traveled to the Americas, to England, to India? Or was it multiple people with the Christ message? I don't know. One thing I do know is that there is a message that has coalesced around a figure that we call the Christ, that is the greatest exposition of spirituality that has ever come to humankind. And even the Christ himself, if he was real, said, listen, who I am, where I'm from, anything and everything about my physical and earthly life doesn't mean anything. He said it's worthless. And he said it's my words that have life and that have spirit. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if there was one Christ, two Christ, or 22 Christs. Doesn't matter at all. Because the message of the Christ has coalesced and is here. That Gospel of Judas broadcast was great, if I may say so myself. That was awesome. I'm glad you're able to catch a live broadcast, Katie. And since it's late, I think it might be time for a little Rod Fest. Somebody says, well, if there are multiple Christs, there might be multiple religions. Do you have any idea how many multiple religions we have? Do you have any idea how many multiple isms there are just within this thing called Christianity? That might be proving my point. Christ energy healing. Bye-bye. Well, bye. The Gospel of Judas broadcast was great. What if the message of Christ was hidden in the parables? I'm sure it was. The spiritual message has been capitalized on. We're breaking from that industry. I like it. So if you have any Rod questions, yes or no questions for the Rods, we're here to ask the Rods. We'll do this for a few minutes, and then we'll move on. So, anybody have a Rod question? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Are there fairies or nature spirits in my pasture? Free reign forever. Are there fairies or nature spirits in my pasture? Yes, there are. Look who it is, ladies and gentlemen. Come here, mister. He's making an appearance. Speaking of fairies and nature spirits, I did not call you a fairy, Rooney. Here's Rooney, the baby kitten. He's the official mascot of NCK. Rooney does need his own show. He's a baby kitten. He's a good boy. And he just wanted to get on here and say hello to everyone. Say hi, Rooney. You a good boy? You a good boy, Rooney Tooney? He looks like he's having a good time. Rooney, R-U-N-E-Y, as in Rune. Sterling's right. We should have a Rooney show. Rooney, I can't do the rods and hold you. What are we going to do about that? You ready to go? All right, bro. Sorry about that. Our people at Rick's job out to get him. Says no. Our people at Rick's job out to get him. No. I missed one. Will Jenny Moonstone have a wonderful birthday? Yes, I love Jenny. Are we alien hybrids from the Periscope, Twitter, Facebook line? Can you still hear me? How's my level? Let me look at my thing here. Good. Are we alien hybrids? Yes, if you define alien, obviously, as anything extraterrestrial. Did the Christ literally walk the earth? The rods say yes. This one's a little sticky. Did the Christ literally walk the earth? This one says, they say yes. I agree. But again, R-U-N-E-Y is how you spell Rooney. Are the people at Rick's job out to get him? No. Are we alien hybrids? Yes, there's more to it than that. Did the Christ literally walk the earth? Yes. There you go. Here, Rooney, let me rub these rods on you. There you go, mister. Thank you. Sometimes they work better when they get rubbed on a Rooney. I'm not sure why. Any other rod questions? Free rod questions. Oh, April 14th and 15th, Halo Marquise will be joining me in Pinellas Park, Florida. We'll be at the Wagon Wheel Flea Market. Now, I know that sounds really ghetto, but let me see if I can pull up Wagon Wheel Flea Market and show you that it's really not ghetto. Website for the Wagon Wheel Flea Market. Oh, dude, it kind of looks ghetto in that picture. Let me see. It's a huge flea market. Huge flea market. And we'll be there doing the MYSTECH thing. This is the Wagon Wheel Flea Market. I'll give you some views of it. We'll be there doing the MYSTECH thing on Saturday and Sunday, April 14th and 15th. This is the Wagon Wheel Flea Market, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the outside parts. They got some really nice inside parts where we'll be. And you can tell there's a lot of damn people that go to this. See, this is the inside part. A lot of people that go to this Wagon Wheel Flea Market. And we're going to be there spreading. Yeah, this is where we'll be. We'll be spreading the MYSTECH gospel, helping people help themselves. We're going to be there Saturday, and we're going to be there Sunday. So if you want to come down and say hi to us, there's not a seminar. There's not anything like that going on. It's just at the Wagon Wheel Flea Market. It's going to be just like this. And we're going to be out there doing our thing. So if you're in the area and you want to come by and meet me and meet Halo, well, that's what the sign looks like out front. So come on down. If you're in town, a good time is going to be had by all. A good time is going to be had by all. Okay, we'll get a few answers back in here. I've asked this one before, but somebody keeps asking us. It must be you, John, because it's a weird question. Are cats aliens? No. Oh, that's interesting. Does Rooney know the answers but can't tell us? No, rather emphatic. Did the Christ visit and teach Native Americans? No answer. Did the Christ visit and teach Native Americans? Huh. Oh, somebody wants to argue with me. Empirical, objective, scholarly evidence. That's all I'm talking about. Are fairies upset with Free and Forever's brother for cutting down so many trees? Yeah, they're upset. Are they upset for him cutting down trees? Yes, they are. Is Bigfoot real? Yes. Huh. The Hopis tell about a true great white brother. Interesting. Will Alicia Keel accomplish the thing that she feels she's supposed to do? No answer. Sorry, no answer. Jeff, would you consider yourself a Gnostic? No, I have Gnostic thought. I have Gnostic beliefs, but I have a lot of other beliefs. So no, I would not consider myself a Gnostic, but I am a person that is open to Gnostic thought. Is the Earth a planet? Yes. Are there spirits at the Rock-Late Pyramids? Yes. Christ means anointed one. Yeah, it does. Might have been King James and Constantine Antichrist. No, you're falling into the lure of Jesuit doctrine. There's not going to be a future Antichrist. The Pope, the papacy, that's the Antichrist. So said 1,600 years of church history and the Protestant Reformation. You're welcome, Jonathan. Anybody else have any rod questions? Anybody else have any rod questions? Wow. Was Dave abducted by ETs? Yeah, but there's more to it than that. Will Jonathan receive disability back pay in the next 6 months? Yes. Will Michael be homeless this year? No. Prove me wrong. We can't ask that because there's no Antichrist coming. Are the fairies listening to Free and Forever? Are the fairies listening? Yes. Will the last night's new business be successful? Yes. Is God a cat? No. Does Candace's mom understand now? Yes. Did the Christ consciousness visit Native Americans? We said this already. Yes. Will I make it to the flea market and meet Jeff and Halo? Says no, Madam Katrina. Will you make it to the flea market and meet Jeff and Halo? Says no. I don't know where you'd be coming from, and things can change. You know, the rods tell you what's going to happen now. Things might change. Things can change. Because I remember when I would ask the rods, will Donald Trump run for a second term? No. And then it started saying maybe. And then finally it said yes, because he's announced that he will run for a second term. Will Jeff come to the Blue Ridge on his trip to Brown Mountain? Will Jeff come to the Blue Ridge? Yes. Oh, Madam Katrina, you're in Newport Richie. Will Madam Katrina come and see Jeff and Halo? Still says no. I don't know. Maybe you got something going on that weekend. Will Tim ever make it to one of Jeff's seminars? Yes, he will. Excellent. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A little Saturday night. No, it's Wednesday night. Sorry. Band rehearsal. Okay. Newport Richie, Pasco County. I used to live up near there. I used to live in Spring Hill, and I almost moved to Tarpon Springs, so we would have been much closer. But Madam Katrina, that doesn't mean that Halo actually gets here Thursday, so he'll be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So maybe you can't see us at the flea market, but maybe we can have a cup of coffee or something. I always love to meet the great subscribers, and I've met a few great subscribers. The rods work by testing the ether. They just listen. They listen to the ether, and they tap into the spiritual stuff. How do they work? I don't know. They just work. So no empirical evidence for the Christ. I believe the Christ was alive and here on planet Earth. I believe there was a female Christ. I believe there was a male Christ. Makes sense, right? How could a male Christ be touched with all the feelings of infirmities and understand everything about women? Can't. How could a woman Christ understand everything about men? Can't. But if there's a Christ that understands everything about us, which is what I think the scriptures say, then there had to be both, in my mind. But seriously, Madam Katrina, it'd be great to, we're not too far away. Let me know, christianwhistleblower@gmail.com. And I've got an email that's hooked up to my website. It's jeff@jeffreydarty.com, but I got to go a different place to check it. And there is no back order for rods. I think I have 2 orders sitting there that I haven't fulfilled, but there's no back order. I'm caught up, and I am getting them out, right as they are ordered. So, yeah, no back order. Byron, Jeff, I live in St. Pete. Good. Come on out to the wagon wheel, dude. I'll tell you, I've set up booths at the wagon wheel before, and if you've got anything that's any good, which I'm sure your fiance does, you can crack a lack out there. You really can. And there's a get that con out of my face. So yeah, Mother of Dragons waiting for your second rot. Well, I don't remember what your real name is, but there's only 2 that haven't been shipped out. So I just ordered a bracelet, Madam Katarina, I'm so sorry. I remember sending it to you. Yeah, it's gone out in the mail a couple days ago, maybe 3 days ago. So you might get it tomorrow, because I remember writing Newport Richie, and I'm thinking, Newport Richie? Yeah, yours is on the way. I ordered it in December. In December? What'd you order in December? What'd you order in December? That can't be right. Second set of rods ordered in December. Unless you're like overseas somewhere or something, there might be a snafu. So send me another email about it. Oh, hello, Michael. Nice to see you. Great program with Ernst. I love Ernst. He's a great guy. He's invited me to come out to his new house, and I'm going to do it because that place looks amazing. And I'd love to do some study with him. We're talking about doing some things to maybe combine the cards of truth with a little bit of palmistry information. That sounds pretty fascinating to me. Hey, Amanda B. What size crystal ball is that? A big one. I don't know what size it is, to be honest with you. It's a big one. And I don't know why I haven't got to it yet. I just haven't got to it yet. For some reason, I just don't think, the time is right. Do a show from where? Oh, from the wagon wheel. That's a great idea. We will do a show from the wagon wheel. That's a great idea, and I've actually thought of it. But yeah, we're going to do some shows from there, and we'll show you how it works. We'll show people, before and after. We'll talk to people. Yeah, we will definitely do that. That's a great idea. A really great idea. We'll do a show from the wagon wheel. Do some live. This chair is very comfy, but it's squeaky as hell. So yeah, anyway. Dude smoking big fatties before the show. Yeah, I just love trolls. Trolls are so awesome. Trolls are the greatest because, the pioneers take all the arrows. And if you don't have any trolls, then that means that you're probably not really doing anything. You're not bothering anybody. You're not getting much going. So, yeah. That's how. So it's nice to have some trolls. So I appreciate the trolls. I really like the trolls. And you trolls are awesome. So keep coming back, trolls. And we would love to see you, trolls. If I can't make it, that would suck. Wagon wheels in your neighborhood. Jokes are troll created. Jeez. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've tried to lubricate the thing. I haven't just tried to coat it with WD-40. I've tried to, you got the cards of truth a week ago. I just got some scent. So we'll see how I like those. Yeah, I'll get some WD-40 on it. Michael, you went to Bible college and you're on the same page as I am? Wow. That's awesome. I hope that you'll continue to come back. Like to hear more from you. Like to hear more about you because that's rare. That's very rare. They are awesome. What is awesome? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing them as well because Ernst said he put some in the mail to me yesterday. So maybe this weekend, maybe the first of the week. I'm using now, because of going through Ernst's Cards of Truth, I'm now using the Golden Tarot or the Visconti Tarot because I'm trying to get a more pure form of the tarot. And I know that sounds kind of hoity-toity and all that, but I want a tarot that doesn't have any, and you should watch the show with Ernst. It was called Has the Tarot Been Corrupted? And I don't want a tarot that has any other influences in it. I don't want a Hermetic tarot. I don't want an Egyptian tarot. I don't want a Kabbalistic tarot. I just want, boom, just tarot. Let me get over where I can see. I want just tarot. I don't want any numbers. I don't want any words. I don't want any symbols. I just want plain old tarot. Your podcast with Ernst was stellar. Oh, thank you very much. This don't sound like English to me. What? Over here on the Twitter part, this don't sound like English to me. Neither does that, bro. But anyway, so that's what I use, the Visconti Tarot, because there's no perversion, in my opinion, or there's as little perversion as possible. And I just mixed up my tarot. Oh, well. So there you go. What is the history of tarot? Boy, nobody really knows what the history of tarot is. Why no symbols and numbers on the tarot? Good question, DJ. No symbols or numbers on the tarot. Me, English is perfect. Because they originally didn't have it. This is what they came like. Wow. This is what they came like originally. This is the oldest English tarot deck that we know of. Or the oldest, the oldest tarot deck that we know of. And they didn't have any symbols on them because they are, and you'll want to go back and watch the Is the Tarot Corrupted show that we did with Ernst. Oh, I'm just going to tear this thing off the top. It's bugging me. But they didn't have any markings on them because they're a book unto themselves. They are a book. They're a book of symbolism. They're a book of magic. They're a book of understanding all to themselves. No numbers, words, etc. The image is the symbology. And the image, when you put numbers on it, if you put, our numbers on it, then, not everybody uses our numbers. If you put Kabbalistic symbols on it, not everybody understands Kabbalah. If you put Egyptian symbols on it, not everybody will understand that. Time out. So it's like this. Let me show you something. This is something I made that is, it's the playing deck. It's a deck of playing cards. And it has all the cards on it. And if you can see, they're in a specific order. And this is the perfect order of life. And I'll do a teaching on this someday. This is actually, in my opinion, Genesis 1:1. I share that with Ernst. I'm not sure he's down with that, but this is Genesis 1:1. It's in a perfect order. And it's a specific order, and this is the order that the whole Cards of Truth is based upon. Now, what I just showed you was the perfect world, ideal world, and this is a representation of the world as it truly is. It's a world of chaos, right? But there's meaning within this chaos. And I believe that this is Genesis 1:2. And Rudy, Back off my cards, bro. And this is Genesis 1:2. And yeah, it goes from there. So how does he have 100,000 hours of study? How come he only sleeps 4 hours a night? Well, because he's doing stuff like this. Because he's doing stuff like this. I wouldn't usually ask this, but I feel good about it. Will Teresa Roberts' mother's biopsy tomorrow be negative? Yes, it will. Boom. Oh, it's got a nice big shot of energy through me. Santa Rosa Beach. Blue Water Pines, Santa Rosa Beach. Is that a resort? Of course, we've just, any order of this show is just completely devolved now. And we're just talking. And my phone's on low battery mode. So I'm going to go ahead and say, well, we'll leave it on. If it goes off and you're on Twitter, Facebook, or Periscope, you will understand. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. 1 second. Go ahead and sign off now from Periscope, from Twitter, from Facebook. Thank you for being with us. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Go ahead and jump back over onto my YouTube, Jeff Daugherty Show, or Christian Whistleblower, and we'll see you there. Thanks for joining me, and please unindoctrinate yourself. Okay, so the Twitter show is over. See, we got this up on the top of the monitor. So we got the Twitter show going, and we've got the YouTube show going. We've got at least 100 people on the Twitter show every day. And it's me on, okay. At least 100 people on every Twitter show. 1,000 views on every one of these shows. And yet our subscriptions are just creeping. I think that we're being artificially suppressed. But there's nothing I can do about that because our views keep going up, 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 and up. And that's what it's really about, is more people seeing and hearing. And we want the subscribers to keep going up, 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 and they are, but not like they should be. I think it's being artificially suppressed, but nothing we can do about it. Please make sure you are still subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe, because we want to grow this thing. We want more people to know. We want more people to hear. We want more people to understand. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So I think that is going to draw this early morning episode to a close. Thank you. I'm guessing it's Delaney, because they were asking, is Rick getting jacked with at his job? So I'm thinking Delaney's asking for Rick. Don't say yet. Is this Rick? Is this Delaney Jackson that's on? Yes. Is it Delaney? We'll see. Can Mother of Dragons spend her IRS refund? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Thank you last night. And it is Delaney. I love me some rods. They are so right. I've never seen the rods be wrong yet. So that's amazing. I don't think the fairies are upset with you, but I'm not going to bend over and pick those things up again. And I'm reading the Ormus book. Who knew that making Ormus was such a chore? I think I'm going to attempt it. I'll let you know how it goes. And if it does actually work, maybe we'll start offering it, because boy, that stuff's expensive, and I think it's probably could be done for less. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Because I think I'm starting to feel the effects of the Ormus. I really do. Madame Katerina, not Katrina. I wasn't sure what to expect from the Ormus, but now that I've read about it and I start thinking back to when I started taking it, I am starting to experience I expected it to make me run faster and jump higher. It's not really about that. It's about facilitating that connection to the spirit world. It's about, facilitating a physical and a spiritual connection. And I'm actually feeling that. And I didn't realize this, folks. You think of alchemy. I thought alchemy was really all about, I've been taking it about 3 weeks, so I'm starting to feel it. I thought alchemy was all about turning silver or lead into gold. Ormus, making the manna of heaven, was one of the main things that alchemists were doing. Did you know that? I was blown away. One of the main things they were doing was making ormus. Ormus is like a cat. Madame Cat. Ormus is like a thing, man. It's been a thing forever. It's like ancient. And these people have been making this stuff for a long, long time. So it's one of the main jobs and main products and main workings of alchemists. Good job last night, making me wonder, was the true alchemy lead into gold, base man, dirt man, mud body man, turning into gold or spiritual man? I like that. Alchemists. So I've learned how to do, I was going to say, seawater. I can do it with seawater. I'm right here in seawater. But the seawater is a very, very weak form of ormus. So there's one that you make that you got to really kind of cook it. I mean, it's got some, it's not like making meth or anything. I don't know, never made any meth, but you do have to do a process, and that's supposed to be very, very strong. So even though there's a lot of seawater here, I think I'm going to use the wet method that involves some chemical shenanigans, some chemical interactions. And I'm going to make that probably not this week, but next week. And I'm going to use it myself for a few weeks. And if it's really good, then I like that too. Use seawater. But they say if you do the lye and the distilled water, that you make a much stronger ormus. That's just what I'm reading in my ormus book. I am in Florida. I live on the Gulf Coast, Pinellas County. So that's my ormus update. And I never even thought about ormus before a week ago. So, but to see and to understand that it really is the work of the alchemists of old, that's pretty cool. And I really like it. And starting to actually see a change, feel a change, sense a change. And I just started taking indium too. Indium, Indium. Come to find out that's a part of the ormus process. Well, you do filter the seawater and you do boil it, but still, yeah. And I'm a very, very big advocate of distilled water. Michael Gregory, Jeff, how old are you? Well, it's not a secret. I will be 55 this May. You need to purchase an embolic for distillation. Is that like my own distiller? Probably should. I'm 90 and I look really good for my age. No, I'm 55. Will be 55. Not quite 55 yet. Michael's 47. Good to know. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's going to draw this episode of Broadcast Excellence to a close. We have covered a lot of ground. We've talked about a lot of things. We've looked at a lot of things. And I think that we got a lot of interesting stuff coming up. And I want the rat bastard to know that I don't want him to tread on me. And we're fighting back. And I don't usually wear hats, but I thought this one was kind of cool. So you are the Gospel Truth Army. The copper still. Interesting. Interesting. I salute you. And I really do hope that you will guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, and be your own guru. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. And I think somebody wants to say goodbye to you. Here he is. He's down here talking. So I think he wants to say goodbye to everyone. So for Rooney Tooney, the NCK mascot, nice to see you, Lunar Angel. Enjoyed you enjoying the show. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. This is Rooney Tooney, who just got his flea medicine, and I forgot. I touched him on the back of his neck. Rooney, do you want to say goodbye? You baby kitten? You a bushy kitten? You a good boy? Are you going to say anything to the people? They're saying good night, Rooney. Good night, Rooney. All right, mister. Rooney says goodbye. For Rooney Tooney, I'm Jeff Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We'll see you later. Good night, everybody.